What's up, guys? I'm Mike, and this is the current status of every single horror movie franchise, starting with the big one, Halloween. Halloween, last October, they told us that Miramax had brought the rights to a Halloween TV series. We haven't heard a fraction of anything since. The original plan was that they were going to take it back to the original, like everybody says when they do this, and they were going to focus on core characters, but also focus on some characters maybe the franchise hasn't focused on in a while. But we haven't heard anything in a while, so that could be bad news. If you're hoping for a Halloween TV series, we shall see. Maybe we'll get an announcement this October. Friday the 13th is actually, there are things happening. The Crystal Lake TV series, for the 15,000th time it feels like, is actually moving now. Just a couple of days ago, the new showrunner, who was also the showrunner for the Pennywise show, which it seems like just got situated, that's going to release finally, so maybe he has time to actually work on this now after they kicked Brian Fuller out of the door, or he left, or whatever. I don't care. Ouch, ouch, you're on my hair. But they just announced that they're hiring Linda Cardellini officially to play Pamela Voorhees in this prequel, sequel, remake-ual, whatever. It's going to start as a prequel, allegedly, and then, at least the last we heard, and then move into, you know, current future space. Let's hope we get more Jason and less of Pamela. I know it's a prequel, but we just put Jason in a mask killing people in the woods. But it's great news because they are actually moving on this. It seems like it's actually going to happen this time. We've had our dicks punched before. As far as Texas Chainsaw Massacre goes, last we got was 2022 with Fede Alvarez. They left us with a tease for another one, and then nothing ever came out of it. Nobody even bothered to ask Fede Alvarez on his Alien Romulus tour, hey, what happened with that? I don't know what's wrong with journalists, but no one will ask the man. David Blue Garcia, who directed it, said he had an idea for another one, but nothing's happened for whatever reason. Now, there was a news story that came out a while back that was a rumor that they were going to have a sequel, and it was going to involve the family this time, and I think it was a retirement home that they were going to, Shady Acres or some crap like that. But that went by the wayside, and just recently, a huge news site reported that, a legit one, reported that J.T. Malner, who worked on Strange Darlings, which was one of the best movies of last year, was fucking awesome, was going to be working on a script for a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and word was old Glenn Powell wants to have a look at it. If you feel it, chase it. That sounded like a really cool idea, except for the fact that JT Malner tweeted after the fact, don't believe everything that you read. So now we have no idea. But we know there is a semi-bidding war going on for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. With everything going on with horror IP, it is actively in development on something happening. We just don't know what yet. As far as Scream goes, we all know there's a movie coming on February the 27th. We haven't gotten a trailer for it, obviously, but they have allegedly wrapped filming. The most recent news for Scream 7 is that Marcos Beltrami posted on his Instagram that he was coming back to score that sumbitch. We just did a whole video on that. Check that out. I'll put it at the end of this video. And by the way, just in case you are new here, I just want to let you know the subscribe button's up there. We cover these franchises consistently. So if you want updates on Scream, Halloween, all of it, as soon as they come out, and videos like this one, click the bell so that you're notified. Otherwise, YouTube will hide us in a dark corner somewhere at your mom's house, and you don't want us in your mom's house. I'll be fucking and sucking and touching, fucking and sucking and touching, fucking. So as far as The Conjuring goes, The Conjuring Last Right's coming out. That, they say, is the last movie. They always say that, you know, the final chapter in horror, that means complete horse shit. Conjuring Last Rites comes out on September the 5th, and then you know they're going to take that. There was this TV series announced a while back for HBO Max. Haven't heard anything since, but it's likely that as long as The Conjuring doesn't completely shit the ghost bed, and it won't, because people love those, in September, we'll probably get news, I'd say, on a TV series soon. That's what I'm assuming, but you know what you do when you assume? You make an ass of you and of me. Evil Dead, this franchise is going the fuck off right now, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Evil Dead Burn is going to be directed by Sebastian Vanacek, who directed a spider movie called Infested that had major Evil Dead vibes to it already. That's supposed to come out in 2026. When you listen to Vanacek talk, you can tell that he's putting his dong out there on this one. He says, I told the studio I wanted to make a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you come away tested. That just sounds like the scariest shit you ever had a dude say to you in an alley, you know, like, you're gonna come away from this tested, boy. I don't want it, Jim. He says, it will be cathartic, and if I haven't ruined my career, and I can continue to make films behind it, I will be moving on to something other than horror movies. He's saying this movie's about to be so fucked up, he's never gonna want to do a horror movie again. that shit's gonna have nuts in it. The other Evil Dead film is unknown, but we do know it's by a story from the dude who wrote The Last Stop in Yuma County, which was a fun movie, totally has Evil Dead vibes to it too, so that's gonna be great. As far as the Hellraiser franchise goes, I mean, a lot of us liked it and we're very excited about it, but as far as the scope of the whole world goes, it just releasing on Hulu just kind of felt like it came and went like a demonic fart in the wind, you know? So hopefully whatever they do will be bigger, but Bruckner did say, or excuse me, producer Ted Levine did in March just of 2024, so not that long ago, told comicbook.com that they're still having conversations with Bruckner and that they're still thinking about doing it, and hopefully they will do it. They put a lot of work into creating that world, so it'd be a lot easier to jump back into it now than it was creating it the first time. Do you want to see another Hellraiser in that world, or would you rather wait it out and let's get something bigger and see what they can do with that? I'm torn, to be honest with you. I would love to see it on the big screen, but is it ever going to happen? I don't fucking know. There was a David Gordon Green television series in the works, but I'm pretty sure what happened with Hamburglar Michael Myers probably put that down the toilet. If it wasn't that, the Exorcist movie that he did flushed it. I think David Gordon Green should just stick to original projects for a while. As far as A Nightmare on Elm Street, this is the franchise on this list that is most fucking confounding as to why there's nothing happening with it whatsoever. The dude who does New Line recently gave some hope, saying that when asked about if they're going to do more films, he said, "We hope so. It's complicated because of the rights." Last thing we heard, the Wes Craven estate had part of the rights, New Line has part of the other rights, and there's Mike Flanagan has said he's come out and has a pitch for it, doesn't know who to pitch it to. It's a mess. Maybe when they're done with The Conjuring, New Line will focus on it and get it done. I've got my fingers crossed. But if you look at what they're doing with the Black Phone 2, right? Bringing him back and having him haunt kids' dreams and be supernatural, that might be Blumhouse's version of Freddy Krueger, as we talked about in an update video weekend. I told you about them updates now. Candyman. You might not think... There's not been any Candyman news. Of course not. Unfortunately, we lost Tony Todd last year, and the fucking Oscars didn't even give it an in memoriam. But we did lose Tony Todd last year. We are going to see him in an upcoming movie in Final Destination, which is rad. But Scream Horror Magazine reported that they had a source that told them that a new Candyman installment was in the works at Universal, with the studio eager to turn Candyman into their next big horror franchise following the conclusion of what they did with Halloween. So we haven't heard anything since, and probably not likely to, but I didn't know that happened. As far as the Child's Play franchise goes, Chucky got canceled from Sci-Fi. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can go once Sci-Fi fucking cancels your show. They did make it 3 seasons. A lot of people had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it at first, and then it just turned into a bunch of stuff about teens making out. Way more than it was about Chucky, it felt like. So I lost interest personally. That was just my experience with it. Anyways, Mancini's never going to give up on this thing. He says that you've not seen the last of these characters. He's going to make sure he keeps it canon. So there's nothing yet official, but you know, if he has to like literally sell this thing at the dollar store on like bootleg DVDs, he'll continue the Chucky story in some form or fashion. So you don't have to worry about that. The quality level maybe, but you'll get your Chucky, no doubt about that. As far as the follow-up to the 2019 remake, it made money. It kind of made sense they would follow it up, but MGM they never did. And no news about it since. The Insidious franchise is kind of messy a little bit. They announced this whole spin-off movie called Thread. It seemed like they were making it or it was already in the can. It seemed pretty far along in the process. That starred Mandy Moore in it. It was going to be an Insidious spin-off. That has not been mentioned at all. Pretty much taken off of the calendar, so to speak. So no one knows what's going on with it. Insidious 6 was slated for August of this year after what happened with the Red Door, which I thought sucked butts, but it's been taken off the schedule and put on 2026. So that's the latest with the Insidious franchise. They're going to keep making them no matter how shitty they keep getting. The Exorcist franchise. Oh man, what? They're still doing that after what they did with that? Yes, they are. But there is good news on the horizon, and that, my friends, is because Mike Flanagan is writing and directing and holy shit package doing this entire thing. And he says he's going to make it his scariest film yet. And he has no interest in just redoing what they did with the original. He says that you have to do something new. There's no point in remaking it. You can't make movies like that today. He's going to do something different and envisions a completely new thing. And I trust Mike Flanagan. It's the best possible situation other than just putting Pazuzu and his weird Pazuzu dick on the shelf for a while. I think we're in good hands. The Final Destination franchise, just a couple sweet weeks away. We're going to get Final Destination's Bloodline in the movie theater, which is a beautiful thing to say. So many of these franchises, it's like, I don't know, maybe in 10 years, this studio doesn't like money. But with Final Destination, hell yeah, we are getting a movie, and it looks like it's going to be a fucking blasty blast. And by the way, guys, I just want to say, I know that this is a video all about horror movie franchises, and there's going to be a lot of Hollywood just has no original ideas. They shouldn't make these movies. They should make original ones. I agree. I'm excited about Weapons. We just did a trailer breakdown for that. I'm excited about him. I did a trailer breakdown for that. Excited about all these original movies that are coming out. But we love horror franchises. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. I'm not afraid anymore. Predator, speaking of which, just had 2 trailers come out for 2 separate movies by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed Prey. One of them is an anime film that just came out. The trailer, people seem to really like that a lot. But the big one is Predator Badlands, which releases on November 7th. We just got the trailer for it. And mixed reaction. The movie's going to star Ellie Fanning. It's going to feature the Predator as a good guy, which I think is cool because every time we see the Predator, he's getting his ass kicked. Not only does he get his ass kicked at the end of the movie, but his buddies show up, pick him up, and go, hey, here's this trinket for kicking our friend's ass. At some point, the Predators aren't going to be scary anymore if we keep watching them get their ass kicked. So having a Predator be the good guy makes sense to me. In this one, it's going to be a Predator that's the runt of his group trying to prove himself. Ellie Fanning's down there with him. And here's the kicker. When she closes her eyes, you can see a W for Wayland, which there's got a lot of people thinking that this is going to tie into Alien. And there's a lot of people who don't like the look of it. I'm all against CG. I thought Prey was too CG looking. I thought some shots in this were super CG looking. But Dan Trachtenberg said, hey, if you're looking for the original movie, forget about it. I'm doing something new and different. We're trying some new stuff. If you want that movie, go watch that movie. And this has like a Star Wars vibe to it. There's a bunch of shit going on in this one. Personally, I thought the Predator actually looked cool. I thought those eyes were cool as shit. I didn't mind that the hair was pulling back or whatever. Less CG is better. At least the body suit is there and it's intact. And I thought his eyes looked cool. Yeah, the mouth CG, but I thought it looked cool. But, and this is coming from someone again who thought, like, why is the fucking bear CGI? That's so stupid looking from Prey. That's what's going on with that. Moving on to the Alien franchise, by the way, there are rumors. It seems like they're trying to tie these 2 franchises together once again. But Fede Alvarez is eventually, he says, I'm going to take my time with it. I'm in no rush. Like, these movies should be able to breathe between sequels for a little while, make people want it. So it's going to be a while before we get his follow-up to Alien Romulus, but there is rumors, and they're just that rumors, that it could involve a Predator. So that'll be exciting. Other than that, Alien Earth is getting ready to come to TV. That's got Timothy Olyphant in it. It's by Noah Howe. The trailers look a mix between really good and, again, super CG, but it's going to be an FX TV show that's coming this summer. And it's about a ship that crashes on Earth full of xenomorphs, which is fun as shit. As far as Paranormal Activity goes, old Toby's not going to be back for a little while. There's no news. Christopher Land said he has no interest in working on it. I don't think Blumhouse even has interest in working on it right now. So you're not going to get any Paranormal Activities. You probably didn't want any for a little while. But there is a game supposedly coming out in 2026 that was announced in 2024. As far as Saw goes, after Saw 10, we thought Saw 11 was going to be a shoo-in, right? Like, you said shoo-in. What movie is that from down below? Super fucking underrated movie. But yeah, Saw 11 seemed like a shoo-in, but there's 2 guys that run that franchise, and apparently they have to agree on everything before anything can go forward, and something is going on between them. Nobody knows directly what it is, but Saw 11 has been taken off of the counter due to infighting. We don't know if it's ever going to happen. They did post a cryptic thing saying that the game is never over, because Lionsgate's like, we want to make fucking money. But as of now, it could be dead. And obviously, as soon as there's any news about it, we'll have a video about it. The Strangers franchise, that's not dead. Even if you want it to be, it won't fucking die. Now, Rennie Harlan is doing a trilogy. The last one, the first one came out last year. It was a remake of the first movie, which to me is silly as shit. Talk about a movie that doesn't need a remake. It's so simple. What can you possibly add to that movie? But they had to do that to get to 2 and 3, which is where I think the nutsacks are. And that's what we're looking for. No, seriously, I think Strangers Chapter 2, if I had to guess, I think it's going to shock the shit out of people. I do fear no one's going to see it, though, because of what they experienced with the first movie. And that's the disappointment, because the trailer for Strangers Chapter 2, I thought looked cool as shit. Still wish they would have just continued off Prey at Night, but here we are. That comes out. It took Saw 11's spot, by the way. It comes out September the 26th of this year. Are you going to see it, or are you just completely giving up? Don't give up on me, though. Give me the finger. And what I mean by that is, if you're enjoying this video, clicking like helps a bunch. I'd super appreciate it. The Blair Witch Project was announced 2024 last CinemaCon, not the one this year, but the year before. Blumhouse and Lionsgate announced that they were working on a new Blair Witch movie together. And everybody's like, cool. But then the dudes who made, and dudettes who made the original Blair Witch Project movie came out and were like, you know what? We're tired of this shit. We're tired of getting bent over and taking it up the tailpipe, because you guys have been doing this to us for years. You screwed us with our original deal. It was a whole big deal. They did a bunch of interviews, and all of a sudden I feel like Lionsgate and Blumhouse were like, yeah, I think we're going to wait a little while on this one, because you haven't heard shit yet. Because they probably don't want to pay these people, and they probably just know it's a bad look. Hopefully behind the scenes, maybe they're working something with them, and that would be the best case scenario, but we haven't heard shit since. Oh, the old Cloverfield franchise. They've been promising us Cloverfield 2 since Cloverfield 1 came out. And I'm not talking about some Cloverfield, the asshole paradox type shit. No, it's actually Cloverfield, but it's about a tree. Like, no. Like, an actual Cloverfield 2, that fucking boogie monster, the Seahawk-looking son of a bitch, the big scary guy from the original that we love so much. Give us that Cloverfield 2. They announced back in 2022 that Babak Anvari is going to be making this film. Somebody asked him last year about it, and he said he couldn't talk about it. And he said, so sad I cannot say anything, because everyone on that team, they're very secretive, which I understand, but I love your excitement, and whatever happens, just know that hopefully you're going to get something amazing. So apparently they're still working on it. Pfft. Not shit since. As far as Poltergeist goes, I don't think anybody asked for that, but Amazon, they did announce in 2023 that they were working on a TV series for it. To me, that story seemed like one of those things they just leak out and they see how many retweets it gets, and if nobody gets angry or excited about it enough, they just go, oh, okay, we won't do it. But again, they announced it in 2023. They gave it showrunners in 2024. They're also turning Amazon to a Carrie series, so maybe they are doing Poltergeist. I don't know what the fuck they would do with it, but whatever. Like, that franchise isn't interesting because it's called Poltergeist, right? It was interesting because Steven Spielberg and Tobe Hooper made it. It's the people who made it, not the IP with that one. You had Sam Rockwell in a remake, and it sucks shit. How do you have Sam Rockwell in a movie as a lead in a Poltergeist and have it suck shit? Maybe you just should stop. That's one you should stop on. I don't think you should stop at a lot of these. I like them. Give it to us. We're gluttonous pigs, but stop on that one. But again, yeah, Carrie as well. They announced Carrie as a TV series that's going to be coming out. Mike Flanagan is going to be the showrunner for that one, which is exciting. There was a rumor that the girl from Hereditary, the peanut girl from Hereditary, was going to play Carrie in it, which would be interesting to see. And again, and Flanagan I trust. I don't know if Carrie needs like the 5th iteration of it, but it could be interesting. I Know What You Did Last Summer has a trailer that just came out. We just did a whole breakdown for that one for sure, and it comes out on July the 18th, and I think it looks pretty damn fun. The Grudge has nothing going on. There was a fake 4K trailer that came out on Facebook and got shared like 1 billion times. Everybody thought it was real. People are silly bitches. My apologies if you're one of the people who shared it. There was rumors Dead by Daylight was going to add the character, but nothing about it since, so we shall see. As far as the Ring franchise goes, absolute bupkis, as it should be after the several things that they've done with that. Terrifier, the script is in the works, as the last we heard. It's underway. It's shaping up to possibly be the final movie of this initial Art the Clown story from Damien Leone, so we're all looking forward to that. And David Howard Thornton did say that it had a planned release date of 2026. That's all we know right now, but we are fucking ready for that one. Great news about the Tremors franchise. The original screenwriters who did the original movie actually got the rights back to this. They have the rights back to Tremors. They plan to make more Tremors. The only caveat is they can't use anything from any of the sequels, which I'm like, fucking fine. I mean, I know the ass blasters and stuff like that, but like, there's enough in that first movie alone. I think people would like it to go back to that, to be honest. And there's rumors that they could try to get Kevin Bacon to come back, which I believe he would. I mean, he did a TV pilot that apparently no TV studio wanted, which blows my fucking tits off. The VHS franchise continues to tickle the taint of the world with another movie coming out this year titled VHS 8. That's got to be a working title probably for now. 2024 was VHS Beyond, and they've been moderately successful every year with these releases because they go directly to Shudder. They do it on the cheap, and there's some good freaky little shit in there for sure. Absolutely nothing about the Psycho franchise. I think an entire multi-season thing about Kid Perkins was enough. Who knows, with his son out there just fucking ruling in the horror movie industry, if he ever decides to touch on that franchise in a strange way, that could be interesting. And I love the Psycho franchise. All 4 movies kick ass. Underrated ass horror franchise. Nobody talks about that. Scary Movie is coming back, and the best part is it's going to be written, directed, all that shit by the Wayans brothers, which is just the best news you can get. The world sorely needs just some fun slapstick probably grody as fuck and offensive comedy right now, doesn't it? I can't wait to see how they maneuver this new world with what they do, but I have trust in them because they have full control of the project. Unlike some of the stuff they dealt with the Weinsteins, that's going to be fantastic to see. As far as the Quiet Place franchise, coming up off the heels of Day 1, which I thought was boring as shit, Quiet Place Part 3 is officially in development, but producer Brad Fuller said they're just waiting for John Krasinski's availability as director, given his current commitments. And that was the last thing we heard. So, that's a moneymaker. They're going to keep doing that shit. Anaconda's coming back in Christmas of 2025 with a movie starring Jack Black, Paul Rudd, and Steve Zahn. It's going to be, they say it's going to be comedic, but they also say that the horror aspects are still there. So I'm fucking excited for this one. I think it could be a huge surprise hit, to be honest with you. I think there's a reason why they're putting this thing at Christmas, because I think it's going to blow people's dicks off. Just a theory. You heard it here first. The Pumpkinhead franchise, a reboot was announced in 2021. It feels like they announce a reboot every couple of years, but then there's like questionable talent behind it, and we've heard dick all about it since. The Prophecy franchise released a 4K Ultra box set. That's about as good as you're going to get. Turn of the Living Dead franchise is probably just as bad as you're going to get with this situation. It's messy as fuck, and I just don't think there's anything good coming from it. The Return of the Living Dead is supposed to have... They released a trailer that looked cool, honestly, of him, Tarman, carrying a Christmas tree through snow, or was it ash? I don't know, but it's supposed to be a Christmas release on December 25th. And everything sounds good about that until you look at who's directing it and what they've done before and the history of the things that are going on there. And then you're like, oh, that seems a little fucked up. You just have to look into it. On the flip side of that, Trash's Revenge is another movie they're supposed to be doing on that. That was announced in December of 2024. There's an argument going on about the rights between these things. This one stars Linnea Quigley, who was Trash in the original one, and Tom Matthews and Eric Roberts. But there's a lot of questions about money and moral issues and things like that wrapped up in all this stuff. And they're planning to resurrect dead actors using CG. I don't know what to do with my hands. The Night of the Living Dead franchise, I did not know about this and was fascinated to find this out. So in November of 24, they said that Mila Jovovich and Betty Gabriel from Get Out were going to star in Twilight of the Dead, and it was going to be produced or directed by the Machinist director Brad Anderson. They said that the George Romero estate is going to team up with the LA-based financier producer Roundtable on the 7th and final installment of the seminal Living Dead franchise. Romero had allegedly written a treatment for this before he died in 2017 that he regarded as a conclusion to his saga of Dead films. I don't know why I didn't hear about this, but it sounds fucking cool. I'm pretty bummed that we haven't heard anything since this. Leprechaun, if anyone wants that, I know I don't. A guy named Felipe Vargas was supposed to direct it, but he came out on St. Paddy's Day and said, no, I'm not. And that's all we got. Jeepers Creepers franchise, jack shit. And that's the way it should be after that fucking heinous piece of dung that was Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I think we should just, if that's what you're going to do with it, I'd rather stick a chicken nugget in my own asshole than ever have to watch anything like that again. I don't know why I went directly there. The Hostel franchise had a TV series announced that was going to be produced by Eli Roth, the creator of the original films, and star of all people, Paul Giamatti, who is said to be a fan of horror and a fan of the franchise. That was back in June of 2024, and we haven't heard anything since. As far as the Hatchet franchise goes, Adam Green has said that he wants to do 2 back-to-back sequels and film them back-to-back, but at the time of April 2025, he said that he just currently didn't have time on his table. He didn't have room in his table of time to do that at the moment, but plan to at some point in the future. Puppet Master, not really anything that we know about, but honestly, someone could film one of those Puppet Master movies in like 2 weeks and then just slap it out like tomorrow. It's a surprise drop. Eminem. Silent Night, Deadly Night has some fascinating news to it. Friend of the channel and awesome dude Mike P. Nelson, director of the Wrong Turn reboot and director of The Domestics, was announced to be working with the people who created Terrifier over at Cinedigm and Bloody Disgusting to create a remake to Silent Night, Deadly Night. The main character in the movie, Santa Claus, Billy, is going to be played by none other than Rowan Campbell. That's right, Corey from Halloween Ends, which, I mean, if you saw his performance in The Monkey, and he was good in Halloween Ends too. It's not his fault what they did with the characters, what they did. I thought he was good in the film, and I think he's perfect for this role. He's just got that face for it. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I love everything they're doing with this one so far. Ruby Modine is going to play a character named Pamela Vero in the film, and that's supposed to come out this Christmas, so... This Christmas of fuck you up. 28 days later, as we know, 28 years later is releasing this June the 20th, and both the trailers have just been fucking crazy good. Butts, me from going hysterical, or whatever the words are, get stuck in your head. It's probably stuck in your head now. Me so sorry, but it looks amazing. We're so excited, but not just that. But they filmed right after that, back-to-back, they filmed The Boneyard with Nia DaCoste. So we're definitely getting that movie and then another movie. And Cillian Murphy is said to be in there. Cillian Murphy is said to be in there somewhere. They said you have to be patient. You have to wait a little bit. They plan on doing a third movie, but they haven't got financing yet, they said at CinemaCon. So as long as these two movies do well, and they will, it was the most watched trailer in the history of YouTube. I can't remember if that's horror movies or just in general, but still. You can sense the foaming at the mouth for these movies, pun not intended. Or was it? Fear Street is coming. Fear Street Prom Queen is coming. It's scheduled for this month, May 23rd on Netflix. They haven't released a full trailer, but we've got snippets here and there. And was a fan of the trilogy. It's a good time, perfect for Netflix type shit. And it's going to be an old slasher film. So hold on to your prom dresses. As far as Silent Hill goes, this is so confusing. I do every year I do this, horror franchise coming this year update, and every year Silent Hill's on there. This movie is directed by Christoph Gans. I'm gonna say this for like the 35th fucking time. It's directed by Christoph Gans, who directed the original Silent Hill movie, and he's coming back to do his version of kind of Silent Hill 2, and the movie's done. It's in the can. People have seen it, but there's no announcement or anything about when this thing's going to come out. I'm like, is it that bad? Is it that bad? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? Resident Evil has, speaking of things that have been bad in recent iterations, Resident Evil has news, but it's good news, and that is that Barbarian and Weapons director Zach Kreger is set to direct it. And allegedly, Warner Brothers saw his work on Weapons after the fun titty monster shenanigans from Barbarian and immediately signed him to do this Resident Evil movie. And I think just the fact that he's doing it gives me hope. Rumors are that they're trying to get Mikey Madison, who is now a fucking Oscar winner, in the movie, and it's supposed to align more closely to the horror of the original games. Urban Legend. Yes, sir. I just put out a video on this, I don't know when this is going to come out, but a couple days ago, they just announced on the heels of the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer releasing that Urban Legend is back. Originally, pre-COVID, they announced it was coming back, and then they canceled it. They said the studio just lost interest for whatever reason. But now that people see how interested they are in what's going on with What You Did Last Summer and whatnot, they are bringing it back. And the only bad news about Urban Legend reboot being announced this past week is that it's going to be done by Gary Dauberman, and a writer who's never written anything I've ever heard of, or anything on IMDb that for the most part goes above like a 4.9er. So that's upsetting. And Gary Dauberman's done movies like Salem's Lot. He does like The Nun 2 and things like that. The stuff he produces is sort of Walmart generic horror. So not to say, again, I know Urban Legend isn't, it's not fucking, a goddamn Criterion Collection movie or anything like that. But still, I would just like it to have a little bit more just, teeth than what he typically does. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Maybe I'm being negative Nancy. Maybe I should just go fuck myself. How about that? Maybe I will. How about the Smile franchise? As of April of 2025, there's been no new news about anything with a sequel, but director Parker Finn has expressed interest in continuing it, but making it different each time, and is getting ready to work on other projects, including writing and directing a remake of 1981 horror film Possession. So it's going to be a while. But I'm sure we'll get Smile 3 at some point. You know why? Money. And finally, the last film we're going to talk about today, film franchise, is Wrong Turn. And there's nothing going on with it. So that's it. Alan B. McElroy expressed an interest in continuing to do movies, but there's nothing on the table for it. So here we are. That is every horror franchise I could think of. I'm sure I missed a couple in there. I realized I missed one or two earlier and forgot what they were now. But that, for the most part, is a butt-fuck ton of horror franchises and where they stand right now. I hope you enjoyed this video as much fun as I had. I love your fucking faces. You guys have a great day.